my Pressure James was absolute psychopath. Like, this guy is unhinged. I don't know whether to take him seriously.
With Kev, there was always an element of danger.
Yeah, exactly.
When you were going to hit with a throwing star,
Yeah.
or there'd be like a samurai sword, or like there'd be like a rumble in the kitchen. It's the issue with living with Kev. You'd be casually, eating some toast, and out of nowhere, like a spin kick comes out of like bloody cupboard under the stairs or something.
It took the toast out of your hand.
Which leads me to my next question. What's the weirdest thing you've ever done together?
It's just been over a year since we launched this podcast, and today we invite on our regular guest, Kate, to turn the tables and interview us, ask us some serious and some not so serious questions. We hope you enjoy this fun episode.
It's different. It's not to do with any of your other stuff, but it's a good.
What are you drinking, Drew?
It's a good for me thing. It's a jagar, a jaga jar.
A Jagger?
A Jagger.
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 I've got the moves like mixed berries.
The moves like Jagger. It's
got me Liquid Death. Have you had Liquid Death, Kate? It's just water.
Well, it's not alcoholic.
Mine's mixed berry infused with reishi, cordyceps, which scared me because that reminds me of The Last of Us, and ashwagandha and magnesium. So if at any point something takes over,
doesn't he play for Arsenal?
Maybe.
So
anyway, I even said to the lady in the shop, I was like, cordyceps really scares me after watching The Last of Us. And she was like, I think you'll be okay. I was like, well, I hope so. They shouldn't be putting weird stuff in cans.
The Last of Us, what is it? Mushrooms?
Isn't the quadriceps?
Cordyceps is the fungus that takes over their brains and turns them into those really creepy zombies.
Fabricio ashwagandha.
Okay, cool. Weird start.
Great
Might
start.
just cut all that.
That, man. People love The Last of Us. It's trending.
So, as you know, because you've clicked on it, it's episode 95. Thanks for joining us back again. Today we have returning special guest, Catherine Atherton, once again.
This ain't that sort of podcast.
But I'm dressing, not undressing, so I'm sorry to disappoint.
It's in reverse.
And before we get started and we say what this equipode's about, Kate, can you show us your painting in the background? It's amazing.
I'm just going to take this out my own painting now. It's the equivalent, when you have to rub your head and pat your tummy.
Yeah.
At the same time.
It's that. Okay. You're going to see that I'm wearing jogging bottoms under a dress.
Just slide. Kate can't sit down anyway. She's got a sore bum for some reason.
It's like...
That's cool. Wow.
It's like golden.
How did you get the golden
necklace?
Whoa.
How did you make? Is that gold paint or is there like
gold leaf in it?
This is gold paint. This is gold leaf, but it's not finished. Like I haven't finished it.
It's so cool, man.
I don't want to add more gold or just leave it. I don't know. Whoa.
I think the touch in the hair and the necklace is.
I think it's enough. It's perfect the way it is.
It's like pat your head, rub your tummy, but on the face.
But it's like someone else is patting her head. You just need another arm to pat her tummy.
Bye.
Great footage for the audio listeners.
I've got some artwork.
Kate's whizzing around.
Artwork that Reef did, and this is the sort of thing that brings up. I had Reef's parents' evening the other week. I was looking through his English book, and he'd drawn like several pictures and of Stranger Things. Bearing in mind he's 6. It's like,
it's not strange things.
This is the sort of thing he comes up with.
Oh, it's really cool.
But,
so I teach 6-year-olds, and I can tell you that is really
This is Among Us stuff and that. I mean, they're quite... This is a Minecraft person. This is probably a monster.
That looks like the famous...
he's written Minecraft. Yeah, it is Minecraft.
That looks like the famous...
I don't know what's going... It says something about Among Us up here, the game with the people.
I think you need to take him to a psychologist because it looks like a building's on fire.
It does remind me a bit of
No, it's all lava. He loves lava. These people have been ejected from their spaceship, so they probably could be like dying.
When you see it in a film and they're like, "Oh, John, Daddy is."
Daddy's being ejected from his spaceship.
He's a little bit nuts, but That's what he's all into, though. He loves monsters.
So let's get on track then. So
Hey, Kev, before you start, you should
Go on.
update on the creepy thing that you weren't like from the ghost episode.
Oh, okay. Right. So if anyone remembers, does anyone remember what episode that was?
57.
No, it was. I think it was in the 90s.
No, I feel like I have to say the actual number now.
7?
Wasn't that long ago, was it?
All the people listening will
86.
be dying to hear.
I know, we're all just kind of on tenterhooks here. What episode was it?
Does it matter?
Yes. Episode 89. Go back to
I
episode
knew it.
89.
I knew it had a 9 in it. I knew it had a 9.
Where Kate's on as a guest and we're talking about ghost stories. You might remember towards the end, me and Drew are talking amongst ourselves and Kate's getting pretty creeped out by herself in her flat. And we were going to tell her that her cupboard door behind her was creeping open, which it was, but it had already. But we weren't going to be mean, so I didn't say it.
We were nice guys. I mean, the irony is you scared the complete crap out of me instead of Kate.
Yeah, Drew was freaked out by it. He was like, what? Did it?
I probably just didn't shut my cupboard, to be honest. I never shut any of my cupboard.
I think that's the actual answer, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, I think it was open the whole time, to be fair.
So today is Kate's episode. It's Kate's questions, and Kate is going to take charge and interview the three of us.
So yeah, well, it's not Kate's episode because it's not about me at all. It's like an opportunity to get to know you guys more.
Kev's gone.
And,
Just let the cat in.
and Kev's just gone to blow his cat.
Kev's on cat duty.
He's left already. So I was going to ask you all, but there's no point if Kev's not even here.
Yeah. We'll wait for Kev.
Not everyone.
No, I'm here.
Kev's back in the building.
So it's to update your listeners. Like if you've got any new listeners,
I hope so.
about your friendship and to get to know you all. Because one thing I really enjoyed, for example, is Drew shared his poetry recently, and you've been talking about your hobbies. And I think there's a lot that maybe your listeners would like to know about you as people because you have very interesting hobbies. You've had some very interesting experiences. So I want to start off by, obviously, we've all been friends for a long time, but just updating, how did you all meet? Do you have any funny stories of how you met?
AA.
And then what made you want to start this podcast together?
I think curries is the answer for both of those, isn't it? For both of us.
Yeah, we really enjoy Indian food.
We worked at Curry's electronic store in our teenage years, and did I know you beforehand, Drew, or did we meet there?
I feel like I knew you from another place, but I think it was Curry's. Unless, did you go to judo? Did we go to judo together?
No, I did judo, but when I was younger. But I think
not with me. Actually, I would have known because you.
I've got a feeling we met beforehand. I think I met you. I think I knew Slips, and I met you through him.
That is true because you said it before.
Was it? Did I meet Slips first?
You met Slips through me. I thought.
think so because I think I know you all then, and you. But I think Drew knew Slips first. No.
Yeah, I think I knew him, and I introduced.
Yeah, Drew and Slips are close mates, but
yeah, we lived together in a flat. Kevin came to
flat friends
frequently. That's not even a word.
Shut up, James. You're my house friend. House friends. You lived with me.
House friends.
But I remember Curry's because it was me and Drew. This is relevant to the podcast as well because me and Drew used to draw film storyboards for making a movie. Like me and Drew thought of movies to make, and we did it with camcorders. And we drew storyboards out. We just used to hide at the back of the store by the washing machines that no one else went to. Lost out on commission, but couldn't be arsed. We just did storyboards. And Drew...
Dave kept coming over to us. I think we had to hide in our back pocket. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
So you've always had this interest in films, like, together?
Yeah. And James was locked out the back
in the
warehouse.
Even when Kev took me on holiday, I think, did we go to Scotland with your parents? And then we did Rendezvous on the Rocks. We were even making movies when we were on holiday together and stuff. So it's quite crazy.
Yeah, I brought Drew to Scotland. We made a film on the beach.
Yeah.
Or Brokeback Mountain.
And that's what we were saying about Scottish sausage sandwich.
Brokeback Beach.
No, that was when we went to excuse me, that's when we went to Scotland, and I wasn't very good at doing a Scottish accent, and Drew is an actor, and he was very good at doing Irish accents. And I remember we were scared on a train home from Glasgow because it was a Glasgow versus England rugby game, and they were just singing anti-English songs on the train really aggressively. I was like, I know I'm Scottish, but I don't fucking sound it. And Drew was like going, well, we can speak a wee bit of Irish there. And I couldn't speak very good Irish. So I could bounce off Drew's accent, and we managed to get away with being Irish.
Yeah, we survived the train.
And I think we got back to where my gran lives, and we went to the club and started talking to people in Irish.
Wasn't I doing card tricks as well?
We didn't have any money, and we went to like a bar, and we asked the bar lady to just pour us loads of shots of water so we'd look cool, and we just down loads of shots of water. Like,
we don't sound cool now, though, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love this. I've got another question for you guys, and you can be honest with each other. Did you have a different opinion to each other when you met? So you can say, "Oh, I thought they were twat, but they're great now." like, did you get to know each other and realize you're very different from your first impressions of meeting each other?
James, you want to take that first?
Don't even remember how I met Drew. I think I've just burnt it out of my memory.
There's a picture of the three of us holding phones, and we're like out in the street doing.
There
something.
is.
It was definitely Curry's though.
Did you just want to borrow my phone?
Definitely Curry's, yeah. And then Kev, I probably got to know you a bit more through George, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point. Because Drew wasn't a major George person because it's not quite your music.
And bear in mind, when I was at Curry's, I was at college, so I was only there like a couple of days a week, so didn't really have that much interaction with you.
Yeah.
So I only saw you a few times here and then, and I met you again properly at the George, didn't I?
I was at the weekends. Drew, were you like weekends only, or I can't remember?
No, I was doing quite a few hours, man. I think I
used to do like one day in the week, like a Wednesday, because college finished early, and I'd do like a Saturday or a Sunday. That was all I worked, 2 days.
I had a whole year before I was going to go to drama school, so I was like, I took a year out, and it was great that I got the opportunity to go to drama school, but during that year out, I just worked at Curry's like a maniac. So, yeah, I was working a lot.
And that's how we all kind of met in a way, because I met Chris Donahue. He started there, Canadian Chris. Yeah. And that's how I met Kate, because he knew you. So we all kind of met together there. But yeah, I think
Curry's.
Then I went to the George through the Echo Tape, Scion, Duke's World Boys.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a reminder to say we love and appreciate you all for listening to the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, follow, as this really helps us continue to progress and improve the content and keeps us making these fun episodes for you guys. Oh, we're also on these things called Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us there too, as we share short, funny reels on the reg that you can share with friends if you like. Now, back to the mayhem.
But first impressions, honestly, I think everyone's got the same first impressions of James, and it still remains the same. Look at him smiling like he doesn't know.
He likes it.
He's off back in them days when we were like just throwing myself off shelves and stuff.
That's what I thought. I honestly thought you were like part of the Jackass crew. That's what I thought.
I remember, like, in your house, it was just like, what stupid thing can we do? Let's suggest something ridiculous, and James will do it.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. I remember when we wrapped me up like a mummy and set me on fire. That was ill-advised.
That's what I'm saying. You were like a jackass.
Paper.
Our own personal jackass.
Stupid.
Crazy. Without making the money.
Next question, like, how has your friendship dynamic changed over the years, would you say?
It faded years ago. We're just doing this for...
It's only virtual now. This is the only way we can stand each other.
When we meet each other in London next month, I think we're going to batter each other. I think by lunchtime we'll have all gone home separate ways.
I think you're going to be ruined after one weekend together.
No, I think it'll be really good. But no, like, my impression of James was absolute psychopath. Like, this guy is unhinged. I don't know whether to take him seriously. He's the most offensive but funny person. You know, when someone's so offensive, but you can't be offended by them because it's so. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just
Jury's
so
still out on the unhinged bit.
I thought his offensiveness, if that's a word, was endearing.
Yeah, and I thought, this is a guy I want to live with, so I offered him to live with me in the bedroom next to me. It's like,
that's trust right there.
I think part of the charm is people try really hard to be liked, and it's like someone's appearing like they don't give a fuck. So maybe that's part of the charm.
Yeah.
Sometimes go out of my way to not be liked, and it still doesn't work.
I was scared of Kev, though. I'll be honest.
Try hard, you know. You're like,
yeah.
I loved working with Kev, like creating our little movies and stuff, and hanging out with him at Curry's. But behind closed doors, I was always scared that like I was going to get hit with nunchucks, or like he was going to do some weird kung fu on me, or throw me through his window.
With Kev, there was always an element of danger. Like,
yeah, exactly.
When you were going to hit with a throwing star, or there'd be like a samurai sword, or like there'd be like a rumble in the kitchen.
The amount of weapons on his wall, like he's like, "Hey, dude, let me just show you some cool stuff." And I thought he was going to be like, show me some really old retro like board games. And he's like, "Look at these nunchucks, and like look at these like samurai knives. You know, if you got like a bit of fabric, it'll cut through." I'm like, "Well, that's great, but like you've had like 15 beers, man. Like let's not talk about samurai swords."
Then you realise Kev's the loveliest person ever. So
thank you. But I feel like I've met a lot of friends through violence, bizarrely.
Yeah, that's
one of my best friends, JD, who I met in London. I worked with him, and he was just he was in a different section to me, so I didn't know him very well. And I just heard him at lunchtime playing Slipknot, and I was like, "Oh, ears twigged up. He might be all right." And then we went out for our first night hanging out together. That wasn't a work do, and we had a great time. And on the night bus home, we battered the living shit out of each other to the point where people left the bus because they're scared of us, and we were just we're like, "Oh no, we're just playing."
And that proves my point exactly.
And he'd punch my arm, and I'd punch him in the kidney, and then it got aggressive to the point where he kept punching me in the arm, I kept punching him in the body. So the next day, I couldn't lift my arm. My arm was black. And he didn't come to work the next day. I was like, "Where is he?" Phoned him. He goes, "I can't sit up." Damaged his body. He couldn't even sit up.
This is the issue with Kev. Living with Kev, you'd be casually, eating some toast, and out of nowhere, like a spin kick comes out of like the bloody cupboard under the stairs or something.
He kicked the toast out of your hand. What was that really funny? It was like, oh god, it was like the old-fashioned like detective. It was like before the Pink Panther thing, and the guy would just attack him randomly.
Oh yeah, Kato or whatever he's called.
Yeah, that's like Kev. Like you're there making Pop-Tarts, he just come at you and you're like, "Whoa!" and you have to defend yourself with Pop-Tarts, or you just like throw a ninja star and it will just go through your Pop-Tart into the wall. You're like, "Whoa, dude!" You're like, "I'm just testing out my ninja stars."
You're not far. Like, I've got a scar there on the side of my eye. It's about a centimetre long, and again, I was at my mate JD's house in London in Crouch End, and he's so lovely. We were all in the living room. We'd had a night out. It was like 4:00 in the morning. We'd all gone back to his. We're all slouched on the sofa. Because he's like a proper cocktail flair guy. He can make cocktails. So he went in the room to make us all this big cocktail where he's got this big metal plunger and there's cool shit there. So I decided to creep up behind him, and he's like in the distance, and I just ran to rugby tackle him, like properly, like take him by the upper thigh and like drop him down. But he was standing right next to the worktop. So when I ran at him, before I grabbed him, I headbutted like a drawer knob, and it cracked me before I took him down. I just crumpled.
A knob in the eye.
I had a knob in the eye, yeah. And then I went back in the living room. I just walked like quietly back into the living room while everyone just looked at me like, "What the fuck was that?" And then just sat down next to my mate Ali and lent my head on his shoulder, going, "I'm in a bit of pain," and bled all over him.
But you didn't even feel it.
That's friendship right there.
But that's the one thing that I was talking about.
Like every week, normally.
Talking about this stuff, it sounds funny, but I am fairly embarrassed about a lot of stuff. I was
Oh,
some
don't
bad
be
It used to be
embarrassed.
chaos every weekend when it was chaos.
We've all got stuff to be embarrassed. Which leads me to my next question. What's the weirdest thing you've ever done together? Doesn't have to be all four of you. It could just be two of you.
all four of us.
It doesn't have to
That
be all
reach
four.
around.
It could be two of you. You could have had a bath together.
Game
You
of
could,
Thrones.
you could have adopted a pet. I don't know, something strange.
I can
like-
tell you the best thing I ever did to Kev.
Did it involve my
Was that
man?
with the doll?
It involved a mannequin, half a mannequin
Oh
actually.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Was when I'd never been so close to look at that. It's like a telephone advert.
Yeah,
With
but you don't have an advert unless you are my phone.
That's not. What phones are they? They've got to be Nokia 3310s or like Sony's or
which
something.
makes me wonder who's taking the photo.
What?
Someone
Why do
borrowed
both-
your phone.
Emo hair.
And we
Someone
both have
borrowed your
Jägermeister.
phone, babe.
Who took the photo?
It's your phone. Someone just
Look at,
stole it.
look at the sweatbands. Look at,
Yeah, we had to have the sweatbands, Jägermeister sweatbands.
I don't have. I don't
Kev,
have.
is Kev wearing a Jägermeister t-shirt or something? What's his t-shirt all about?
No, that's the Bled. No, that's maybe
That
every
was
time I
before
die.
Jägermeister was like a thing. Can you remember that Richie's band used to get sent cases of it for free, and we had like the test tubes and the foam brick. We used to drink
Oh, yeah.
Jägermeister well before it was in like, the pubs and that.
Is that
My
a
hair-
Wetherspoon?
Question. I want to know.
Oh
what
yeah,
Right.
Kev came home from work one day, and I was in a mischievous mood. So he went in the bathroom, didn't know I was home.
Oh
So I
shit!
got half the mannequin, and and I stood there for quite a long time actually, probably too long, but I was committed. And he opened the door, and I just went, "Whoa!" This mannequin, and I've never seen fear like it in my life. He almost had a heart attack. I felt quite bad for about probably 2 seconds, but then I just ran away laughing. I think.
I've got a photo because obviously, like again, me and James lived together, so some extra weird shit happened there. But I remember, I don't think James was out or he was stayed at home when we were drinking. Kate, you were there because there's a photo we took of a selfie, me and you, and we kind of woke James up and realised that he was fully naked in bed, but he didn't have any covers on. I've got
You go to bed with you naked.
yeah. So, babe, you were there as well. Coach, you put me.
It's funny. We were all drunk. We were like, let's just wake this poor guy up in his own house and just all get into bed with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Quite an invasion of your privacy, really. So sorry about that.
and James used to make happy
Oh
birthday
yeah, he used to make
t-shirts.
people's t-shirts on their birthdays, or
That's
put something stupid on it. What does that say? I can't really read it. It's a happy birthday.
Just
It does say happy birthday.
happy birthday, Kev.
Yourself, and you like
Really nice.
brought it with you.
Do what?
You made a cut
like-
like yourself and
Oh
brought
yeah,
it.
the cardboard cutout. Yeah, I missed that.
Still not hearing a weird story that you've had
I
together.
feel like James was kind of like leading
Embarrassing, weird thing you've done together.
to Kev's Stitch, if that makes any sense.
You don't have one?
You never did anything weird or embarrassing. It was just carnage. It,
I
just
think-
weird. It just makes me wish that phone cameras could record video back then.
Oh.
No, yeah,
just
that
wanna ask,
photo was taken
Kev,
on a
does
digital
your-
camera. It wasn't on a mobile.
Does your mum and dad listen to this show at all? This podcast?
Mine, no.
No,
Kate's
that's
mum
cool.
does.
Something I was
Kate's mum
about to
does.
say no, because I was going to say when I think you borrowed your dad's car. A crazy thing we did together. I say we. Kev borrowed his dad's car, and we were driving around the car park. And
What
Kev decided to
happened?
put his foot down, and he used the sleeping police, as a ramp, and we left the ground. Do you remember that? We're just like skidding around this car park, and we're like, "Whoa!"
Kev, when I had a
Yeah.
party in my house, I shouldn't say this because my mum's probably listening to this podcast, and I can't
Hey,
remember
Kate's
who
mum.
was in my party, but someone was asleep in my brother's room, and they stole like the entire roadworks, like the bollards, the barriers, and put it all around my brother's bed. So
Wow!
he was sleeping in there, but they woke up and like
They thought they were in the street.
entire roadwork.
That is quite funny.
Like what?
That is brilliant.
Funny, like getting some traffic lights.
There was a lot of
incidents,
theft that went on over the
Oh,
years. The Domino's flag,
The
Stole
bins of Andover.
Yeah.
the
a lot of
bench.
things.
Can you remember that time I woke up in, I can't remember who was around, but I woke up and looked out the bedroom window of the back garden. There was a sofa in the back garden, not my sofa.
Brilliant.
Everything spread out, a swimming pool, a trolley, and some other stuff.
I feel like you're trying to recreate Friends.
The whole garden was full of just random stuff, and it was the only time I didn't find it funny, and I was really angry.
Whose sofa's this?
Do you remember the Viking?
Oh yeah, we got the
Oh, yeah,
Viking.
you saw the... Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
remember
Well,
that?
Oh yeah, toilet seat party.
One of the craziest things Kev and I did from moving on from making shorts.
Just quickly, Kate, did you see that picture Kev just held up? That's an iconic picture that kids don't take today.
Let Drew do his bit first, then we'll go into that one.
No, it's all good. Well, I was just going to say we made a feature which was the longest and most intense we'd ever done. So I think you crashed around the flat that me and Slips were staying in for a couple of days or even 3 days, and then Slips was in the movie as well. I say movie. It was a fun little thing called Stages of Awakening, but it was longest, craziest thing we did. It started off, we had like a little mini idea for a script, and then we just started improvising, and we were like, but I really liked it. And then I think I had weird fangs, and we had like weird it was a really scary horror thing.
Like, I don't think you've ever talked about it much. So, you know, Drew and Kev have mentioned how they met in Curry's and they had this interest in movies and they made these little plots, and we've kind of mentioned and briefly passed on it, but I don't think we've talked about much how you all used to make films. So you have what was the
Safe.
first one? Safe.
Blair.
What was the one about the war? And there was a few. And the
Harbinger.
company that you made it under was Sinister
Harbinger
Dexter.
was amazing.
No, that was your photography. Sinister
Harbinger
Dexter.
was so cool.
Yeah.
They had a little interest, and it was really cool. They used to make movies. Can you tell us about what you both used to do and what you did with it?
Well, Drew's one was the first one, so that was Stages of Awakening. The first one I was involved with, Stages of Awakening.
Stages of Awakening.
It was just a horror movie. It was a horror movie that you're just
flatmates.
Yeah, he filmed me, and then I filmed him talking to each other, and it was just us getting paranoid, living in the same house. So we'd go and make food, and we'd be like, "He's nicked my whatever," and I get really pissed off with him, but he hadn't done anything, and he's getting pissed off with me, and I hadn't done anything. And then later on, we put Drew up in the loft and had him dangling upside down with
wearing these really creepy,
poking down. And,
I think I had eye contacts as well. Like I looked really scary. Like
that's the time when we got right. Slips wasn't in the movie, but we were using his flat, and we got him to film one scene one night because he was working late. Yeah, and he just had to drive a car up and do something and whatever, something simple. But we're drinking at the house, and remember you broke his lamp.
Oh God! Jenny goes, "That was your favorite lamp,"
and he's like cry laughing, going, "That's my favorite lamp." And that was as we were out. It was the funniest thing.
So awkward, man. That was so awkward. Well, it was like, wasn't it something? Oh, I think I got money. I found some money. And I think it was based on that kind of Ewan McGregor one with the money that's poisoned. We kind of like that idea, like maybe the money's giving off weird vibes. Yeah. It's haunted and there's like demons connected to this money. And anyone that takes it, it starts to destroy their life. And the idea was actually that Slips was a hitman that was paid to find me. And we were trying to think, how is he going to know where he lives? So like the character I play was a bit of an idiot. He's taken an envelope with his address on it. And as he leans in to take the money out of the back of a car that's just parked up, almost like a kind of Pulp Fiction thing, the envelope falls out into the car. So I've got the bag and they've got an envelope with my address on it of the character. So he clearly knows who's stolen the money because the address is on the back seat on an envelope. And then he comes to the house and he's like all suited and booted and he's coming to kill me. I'm already dead at that point because I think Kev's beating the hell out of me with a remote and just hidden my body in a bath or something. And then I've come back.
Supernatural.
I've come back as this demonic thing. And at one point he's driving down the road. And I think we have 2 pairs of fangs because you've got fangs at one point and you put some weird stuff in your eyes. And then when he's driving, I don't know how he did it on a really kind of like dark road. You and me just jump in front of the car and he's like, ah, and he's like pointing the gun everywhere and we're just appearing.
But that was it because like we just thought of that came out of nowhere. Just bored one day playing with the camera a little bit.
Oh no, I was in the back seat. That was it, dude. And he's got the wing mirror. He's got the wing mirror and he's driving and he looks up in the wing mirror and I'm there going, ah, and he's like, ah, and he pulls over and then you arrive.
But from that's how, because Drew knows Adam Russell and Adam Russell's got like proper camera stuff. So when he knew that we were into this, we got in touch with Adam Russell and then we started making some proper stuff. James got involved acting there as well.
think that's nice. You've gone from like we've all from a town we grew up that there wasn't always a lot happening, but we kind of made the fun. It was quite a small town. There was not, but we made the party, we made the fun. And I think that's really nice that you took what was a passion and an interest into like your own creative pursuit, and you took it and you had projects with it, which is super fun. What other films did you make together?
Well, because we got Kevin on Safe, and that was one of the funnest bits where I break his nose of his character, and I'm kind of like trying to torture him and get the password of something. But do you remember in one of the moments I grab him and I pull off the bit of his broken nose, and he's like, "Dude, you've got my nose." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You've got my nose," like the broken nose.
He's
bit.
beaten me, and part of my nose comes off in his hand.
And then we improvised a little bit where I said, "You're getting blood on the something," and we kick over the bucket or something, and then you spat in my face, and it's like, "You're getting blood on the floor," or whatever it was. And then and then I threw you off the chair, and there was all kinds of crazy stuff going on.
There it is.
Scene. Yeah, I've got a baseball bat.
Oh, I love it. You took it.
That's so cool that you got that.
It's so cool that you just did that as hobbies when you were younger. And
I love that Kev's had the same haircut for 25 years.
No, he had a mohawk at one point.
I had a mohawk, and I had a big.
You've got a mohawk now. It's just fallen over like Free Willy's little tail.
What about yours, James?
Yeah, I mixed it up. I had every hairstyle.
Mate, that's a comb over.
What
What
is
is
look at
that?
yours there.
Dude, that's a great shot. That's a great shot.
But I got a shot of James.
That was actually the last photo we ever took together.
Oh,
There's me and
Yeah,
James.
that's a better one.
That's Enemy Unknown, and that's where.
Is that the war film you made? What was the war film?
Yeah, I think it is.
Alien.
That's what happens when you go downstairs certain weeks of the month.
Yeah, he kind of like had his face melted off.
Do
Like,
you know how long that took to get off? A long time.
Days.
It was in my hair. It was like it wasn't worth it.
dedication.
Yeah.
Oh,
Was
I
that
love it.
Candy that did that?
No, I don't think it was. No.
That was I'd say that was one of the best of the lot though, because like we were out in the middle of the woods. Adam and his mum was amazing. Like she brought loads of like lights, and I think she was making really nice meals for us, or hot food, or little sandwiches. And she had a little flask because it was. I think it was really cold from what I remember, because you could see our breath in the trailer, and we're just running around with replica guns, man. Like it was so much fun, man. So much
I just
fun.
remember like Paul and Vinny coming because they loved guns and shooting stuff, and we had a whole arsenal. We had like all the weapons on a big table,
and there was a real ex-army guy. I can't remember his name now, and he was a scary bastard. And I remember I had quite a few scenes of him. And Adam kept saying to me,
Hutchie, was it?
No, the guy who did the American football.
Yeah, and he.
They've got Lee Mudd.
No, older guy.
I can't remember his name now. Newcastle? No, I think he had Geordie. He had he had some kind of accent, but I just remember Adam taking me one side, go, so yeah, listen, he's not an actor, so he doesn't really know about the idea of faking it. And I'm like, what do you mean, man? I'm getting thrown into trees here.
Action.
Yeah, he's like, it might hurt after a few of these takes. I'm like, what? And we're having like a bit. Our characters don't get on. And like I think he threw me into a tree, into a shed, and like I had bruises all along my back. And I'm like, ow, because it's like. But I mean, obviously, it's real, man. Do you know what I mean? It feels real, man. So
I mean, I wasn't in that much. But I preferred Harbinger. I thought Harbinger was epic. It just never got finished.
Amazing.
Kev, we need to add pictures like that one with the gun to my head, and the one of you and him doing whatever you're doing to our page. I think.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Definitely.
Because we had drama teachers in Harbinger. Like the levels went really high. Like we had Adam Baxter's dad in it. And a few other people that
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, probably. But it was. I mean, do you remember the big shootout with all the squibs, and we had the pyrotechnic shotguns and everything, and then there was
we went extreme. I think Adam Russell kind of did a lot for that.
And then Dave Allen, like when his character gets blasted with I can't remember if he shoots himself. Something happens where his body goes flying back. And Kev is like, he kind of comes back. Actually, it's almost like Kev's version of, with Brandon Lee. God, why have I?
The Crow.
The Crow, yeah. is kind of like that, because like Kev comes out of people's bodies, and the way that Adam shot it was so cool, because like Dave Allen's body just falls down and then Kev just stands up, like he comes out of his body and he goes where he wants to kind of get a vengeance, basically.
It was super cool. You'd go to so much effort and you get like loads of people in the community involved.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was nice that you both took like such a passion and made it like into an event and into toilet seat party.
Woohoo!
Or something different.
It was I've got a little newspaper article somewhere of Harbinger,
as well.
and it's actually saying, and I think Kev, you were there as well, wasn't it? It was like there's a few of us all around.
I think I posted it on Ragewell a while back.
Yeah, and it said local filmmakers tried to turn Andover into more of a kind of like a cinematic kind of element, and but it was mad. It was absolutely mad that the Andover Advertiser, the local newspaper, were getting involved.
No, I think it's really cool, and it's obvious that you all share this creative passion.
It's funny that while you were doing that, me and my mates were filming ourselves bodyboarding down the river and jumping off of car parks and running each other over in cars.
That's what I mean. You went down the Jackass Road, and then we were to cars.
Yeah, I've got a funny question.
It's Hunt's birthday today. Happy birthday.
How do you think it would have been different if you all grew up now in the times of like, YouTube?
We would have had a YouTube channel for sure.
Or been arrested.
Do you think you would have been like?
Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to legally do a lot of stuff.
Channel in prison.
Yeah. I think I would love that time, because when we used to do that, we didn't have a lot of commitments. We had time on our hands. But nowadays, like, commitments, time, it takes a lot of work. Like, credit's due to these YouTubers. It might look easy, but it is a full-time job. And for every one that makes a living out of it, there's probably a million that don't.
Well, do you reckon
because everyone starts with 0 followers, don't they?
Do you reckon we'd be more serious at doing social media type stuff? Because we were all creative and we all enjoyed stuff, you know.
Yeah, I think we probably would have been all over it. Maybe probably making movies, not for any other reason, because everyone's got the technology in their pocket now. Whereas when we were growing up, it was like you had to buy £1,000 DV camcorder, and even then, you had to have. No one's computer could edit them. You could only cut and paste. You couldn't like really add. You could add music, kind of, but you had to like illegally download that, and no one had the facilities to do it all. Like, no one really had a Mac. They were really expensive back then, and that was like the editing stuff. Even when I was at college doing film and media, we got to use a camera maybe twice a year and use the editing software in the Mac rooms, which was like cut and paste, add a soundtrack. That was kind of it. The odd Ken Burns effect, or like zoom ins, pan in, pan out, zoom in, zoom out, whatever. But now it's like you can whip out a phone, you've got 4K, slow mo, you can edit, you can put AI in it, you can do
I think it was really. Like 2014, 2015 before I had a decent, had an iPhone.
Yeah. That's probably, but the barrier to entry now is amazing. Because everyone has that stuff in their house. Like, even if a kid doesn't have an iPhone, they can borrow their mum or dad's.
Yeah, if you all lived in this, like, you still are very creative and you all have these creative hobbies, and I think that's something that draws you in common, and it's very interesting for listeners to hear in your episodes of all your experiences with your photography or your acting or the experiences. And I think what you have in common is you're all very creative and you all have a lot of ideas and a lot of passion. But it's interesting to think of like how that would have manifested in another time. Like you said, like now you're all like, not that you weren't grown ups then, but you're more grown up life, more responsibilities, less time. And how would that manifested in this time with like more time and unlimited creative?
I think we would have probably done a lot more and probably developed more. Because if you start filming when you're late teens, start learning how to use a camera, do all that, you could be making within, I reckon the learning curve is so quick these days with technology. Like, you could learn everything you could pick yourself off a second-hand iPad and an iPhone, or even like a little actual proper camera and a gimbal for a few $100 quid.
Don't you think that we've been shortchanged as a generation? We've had the best growing up experience, but like for the listeners, we're all just crept into our 40s. I'm not sure if Kate is not.
I'm similar age to Drew.
Okay. So we've all just crept into our 40s, But we grew up without phones. We grew up actually having a childhood. We grew up learning
I think
about
we were born at the
technology.
perfect time.
And
We
this
were
is
born at the perfect time.
I remember the days when I'd knock on people's doors, and that doesn't happen anymore. And I grow up teaching children that all they know is an iPad.
I
And
was saying to someone the other day, the 80s was the perfect time in human history to be born. And I'll tell you why I think it, for me anyway. 1980s, from 1980 to now, we saw every single iteration of a video game. So you're saying from like NES all the way up, we've seen innovation. We've
Commodore
seen
64 up.
we've seen all these different innovations for cameras. We've seen all these innovations of video cameras, how we watch movies, how we stream movies, how we search data, how we read a map, how we click it on a phone. Like, we've seen all of that stuff. We've seen like that massive 30-year spike of technology. Now kids are getting born with it all, so they have absolutely no. It's all taken for granted.
Yeah,
it's taken for granted. Like, you'll go to a park, you won't, I will, because I've got Reef. If you do, they'll call the police. And you see kids just chucking their iPhones on the floor. They have like no respect for the technology because it's just always been there. They don't, but because of that, I don't think they understand it or have a kind of value to it, sort of thing. It's just there.
I think the point I mean is that, yes, I agree with that. And I think we're born in the perfect generation for experiencing lots of growth in technology and the way the world's changed. And we're still well-rounded because we remember that we used to play as kids and we appreciate that now.
Which is rare. We were born in a generation without we've experienced before internet and internet. We've experienced before mobile phones and mobile phones. And actually, we've experienced before AI, and we're starting to now experience AI. Like, yeah, we're a bit late, but like
I would say the only thing the modern generation has that I would be envious of is, one, the technology they have. So the ability to record memories, which we didn't really have when we were little. Like, because you do have the odd, but
everyone's memories.
They've got the ability to record memories better.
Yeah, but everyone's memories are selfies and duck faces. It's not stuff I want to remember.
That's up to them. But like I'm saying, I think how many movies we would have made if we had an iPhone back then.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to say, is that I do still feel that we're shortchanging the generation as well, because like me and Sadie talk all the time going, what was your opportunities when you were at school? What was mine? You know, when you had like your job counselor guy come round and go, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a vet, but it was like fireman, lawyer, policeman, like these sort of things. Whereas kids these days don't think of that. They all think about, I want to be a computer programmer. I want to create and do these things. They've got more
that comes
job
to my
opportunities.
second reason. That's my second thing I'm envious of. The most important thing, is
job
access to information. No, not access to information.
I have an encyclopedia.
Yeah, but you're not going to do it. What I mean is, if I want to learn something now, I'll go on YouTube and I'll learn how to do it and watch a video. If I wanted to learn how to do something when I was at college, I'd have to go and find someone that knows how to do it and physically show me how to do it. Whereas if I want to learn how to, like when I programmed a computer the other year, I was like, I've never done code. Watch some videos, programmed a computer. Or when I wanted to learn how to do photography, I just watched loads and loads of content of people doing it and doing settings and that, and drilled it in.
My next door neighbor built
kids now can learn anything they want for free.
Yeah, my neighbor built a big bar in his back garden from YouTube. He's never picked up a hammer and nail before.
You can't learn to be a doctor, obviously, on YouTube, or be a mechanic to a certain point, but you can learn a lot.
I'm not building shit.
No, but you're right, and it's also like efficiency of time, access to information. Like, you can utilize time better because you can just learn anything now, which you couldn't before. You're right.
Do you know what's a bit creepy though, right? I felt like we had more time to ourselves when the telephone was attached to a line. And as soon as the telephone became detached, it took all our time.
Isn't that a famous quote? Like, we were free when the telephone wasn't attached to a line or something.
Yeah, it is something like that, yeah.
I would say that's not true.
Yeah. I'm just trying to plagiarize it. Palm it off as my own.
Attached to a line. Sorry, we were more free when the telephone was attached to a line.
But also, I feel like growing up, I felt a lot safer in the sense that I felt like I knew so many more people's parents. And I feel like the children growing up now, Like if I called Kev, for example, I'd speak to Kev's mom and dad first, and then they'd do the shout up like, Kev, it's Drew on the phone or whatever. And then it'd be like, he'd come down, boom, 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 boom. Hey, what up? But it's like the idea that you'd have all these social elements with people's parents, or even more awkwardly, if it was a girl that you liked at school and you call up and be like, hey, is Stacey there? And then it'd be like, oh, Stacey, there's some girl on the phone for you. And there's like, it was just a fun kind of, I don't know, it just felt...
It's more personal.
Drew, on your point about having the phone thing, someone once said, like, no one's ever on their phone. Everyone's on the little computer that Steve Jobs tricked everyone to buying.
Oh, yeah,
just happens to make phone calls. Someone said that about Steve Jobs. He's the greatest. He pulled off the greatest scam in history. He convinced everyone to buy a portable computer and sold it purely on the basis it happens to make phone calls.
There was a really powerful little image that somebody created that was on Facebook, which is obviously ironic because it's obviously a social media thing, but it's a picture of a crying alarm clock, a crying camera, a crying calculator, and they're like, it took all our jobs, man.
Sat nav.
And it's just sat nav, maps,
CDs,
a crying A to Z map, like all of these different
Blu-rays,
things, everything you needed. It's like it's just
a tiny little box that fits in your pocket.
Yeah, there was one of those posters like from the 90s or the 80s where it was a man who won a prize at one of these game shows, like £1,000 of prize in standing there with like a ghetto blaster and a computer and a TV and a million gadgets, and someone just went, I've got 20
and I've got it all in that
hour on my phone and all of that. Yeah,
all in that I can fit in between my fingers.
I also heard something today on social media, and it's terrifying. She goes, it was a comment that someone said, why don't kids have sleepovers these days? And then it flipped to a child psychologist, and she said, I wouldn't let my child have a sleepover these days. We now have statistics knowing that's where most abuse happens for children, whether it's their friend or the friend's parents or the friend's uncle or the friend's brother. You don't know who's in that house, and stuff like that's been happening for decades. We've been unaware of it, and now we won't allow your kid to go and stay at someone else's house unless you are there as well.
I think that person has trust issues because sleepovers happen all the time.
Yeah, my mate the other day was saying, do you remember when we used to have like sleepovers, like, oh, your friends stopping over the night, and they'd have
friends
a meal.
Go stare at each other's houses all the time.
Yeah, but he did touch you, Drew, didn't he?
What?
I think maybe that person's got some like issues.
It's the idea of like playing games and
technology is lost.
So we carry on to the next question, because we've gone down a bit of a rabbit hole with this one, haven't we?
A technological rabbit hole.
Don't start me talking about technology. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about like your hobbies and passions, but I feel like that's for like another episode, and I won't ask too much about like why did you start the podcast and all that, because I think you've covered that. So I want to ask you some deep questions. And but I'll relate some to movies. I'll just start off with a boring, like cliche one, but like, if you were going to be a character in a movie that you most relate to, or a movie that's most like your life, what would it be?
Alice in Wonderland.
I like that answer.
You need to explain.
You just
probably be the Mad Hatter.
Which movie character? Oh, not the question. You're talking to James. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, him explain. Yeah.
Mad Hatter.
Why?
Just wacky world, isn't it? Or Truman Show.
Oh, I like that one.
Because I think there's something a bit more out there.
Well, that's a nice answer.
I think I got confused though. I thought, is it what you think your life is based on, or what you like your life
what
to
movie, like, what movie do you most relate to, or which movie character do you most relate to? So it could be like, this movie feels like me, or I'm a lot like this character. Like, for example, I would say if I was going to identify to a character in movie or TV, I would say probably the girl in New Girl. I would say
Jess.
Yeah, I'm a bit like her. So, same to you.
Oh, in reality, I'd say, I'm not going to say who, but one or two characters from American Pie.
Which ones?
Stifler.
A mix.
He's
them all in a
50%
blender.
Stifler and 50% the guy sticks his knob in a pie.
100% the man who sticks his knob in a pie. You're doing it earlier, right?
Who
You're doing it right now.
He's also the guy who drinks the piss of Stifler, isn't he?
Or the modern version of that, super bad.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay. I've got 2 questions for you. Which movie or TV character do you most relate to as in your personality and you feel like you identify with? And then which movie is like, it doesn't have to be like your life. It could be like resonates with like a feeling you feel like is you. Like I like James's answer of Truman's Show. Like I feel like there's something more out there, so it feels like it speaks to me in a way. So double question.
This is one I wish I had loads of time to think on, but my favourite film... No, actually scratch that. I'll go John Wick. Anyone touch my dog, I'm going to fucking murder an entire city.
You're going to be the dog, right?
No, I'm going to be John Wick. Anyone touch my dog, I'm killing people. I was going to say Brandon Lee in The Crow. Or Wayne from Wayne's World.
Violence, Kev. See, it goes back to violence with you every time, isn't it?
Not Wayne in Wayne's World. Schwing. Yada, 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 yada.
He chose violence this morning. Mine's a weird one. I feel like I can relate to Rick Dalton. Not quite as successful as him, obviously, in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But the idea of wanting better opportunities with one's acting career, wanting to be taken seriously, but then also being kind of riddled with the anxiety of when the opportunity comes to, present your work, that you're always second guessing and that you kind of feel that you're not quite where you're supposed to be, that you feel like, oh, did they make a mistake booking
like imposter syndrome?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But also the idea of thinking that, you'd hope that you'd be given better opportunities, but then you don't know whether or not you deserve them because you don't have enough belief in yourself.
And then you get a flamethrower and burn up
and then I
hippie.
take out half of what's his name's crew.
I'll stick on a Leo film and go with Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street.
Nice.
Several aspects.
Wow.
What's your answer, Kev?
Either John Wick or maybe Jack Black in School of Rock.
Oh,
because I think passion of mine is rock.
Kev is a bit more Kung Fu Panda.
It's like more like my passion is rock and metal music, and I feel if I had a kid, I'm going to say something really bad there. I'll remove that from my brain. But if I had a kid, I would want to force them to listen to, not in a way that they reject it, but they have to listen to good music.
So you mean inspire? I think forcing them to. It feels like trapping them in a room and getting them to listen to Slipknot or like Strapping Young Man. You're like, no.
Just the character from
Strapping Young Man.
Strapping Young Lad.
That's a band for the people who don't know at home. Strapping Young Lad, or extreme band Devon Townsend.
That's what Kev's going to call his kid.
Okay, I've got another question then. If you could have an elaborate or comical death in a movie, what would it be? And it can be as ridiculous as you want.
I know James is. James is going to be Halloween. Not Halloween. Was it Friday 13th where the head goes in the bin?
I feel like yours would be the monkey, the way the woman goes. Burn.
That long-winded one.
You can invent a new one, though. I want to hear a new elaborate idea for your death.
Oh, wait, we have to create one based on a horror film or just a version of?
I think it's an open question. You could say, I want to die like that head in the bin, or I want to die tap dancing with like a chorus of people singing my name and I like fall into a ravine while tap dancing.
Wow.
It's just mine.
I think James
I don't know what you were smoking when you came up
I'm
with
not going to answer because I don't want to jinx it.
Whoa.
Oh, no. It's just movie death. It's not real.
I know, but still, it's bad juju.
Final Destination type stuff.
You're a bad juju.
Bad juju.
James on the bed getting ripped apart and then having the salt sprinkled on his wounds.
By
and then
Margot Robbie.
Then his mum come in and realise that he's still alive.
Whoa. That's
Terrifier
a bit like
too.
Yeah.
That's one of the best deaths in any film.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Oh, what's got to be? There's got to be some funny deaths that's not horrific. It's got to be a Final Destination thing. That the logs on the lorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't drive behind a lorry with logs on now. Like, I'm just imagining.
Yeah, that Final Destination 2. That absolutely messed me up with motorways and stuff.
So when you worry about juju, by the way, it's not real death. It's just how you die in a movie.
No. Bad juju.
Mine would be really ridiculous, but I don't know what it is yet. Just be really funny.
Well, someone was saying, like, I mean, if you said, like, the guy that hits the fan in Titanic, like, that's never going to happen to you, James.
Well, what if I go on a cruise?
Don't go on a cruise.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, next question. There's a zombie apocalypse. Number one, what's your escape plan? But it's the three of you, rather. I'm saying.
Collectively as Rage Whale.
Okay, Rage Whale. You're in, like, because I've always thought of my zombie, like, when I used to live in Andham, I used to think we're near MOD headquarters, so I'd go there, get weapons, try and get in with the army. Like,
you can't just go and ask for weapons. I've tried.
Well, I thought I'd try. But I'd really, like, thought...
But I know your past, James, that's why.
One, I want to know, like, you're a team, collectively, how you're going to deal with the zombie apocalypse. What are your strengths? What are going to be your weaknesses as people, as friends, knowing each other's? For example... like, one of you might have a skill, and how are you going to get out of it together, and what's your plan?
Well, currently there are companies operating in the UK that are actively working to prevent zombie apocalypses.
Well, that's good.
It's called cremation.
You prevent it by doing nothing. Oh, cremation.
No, it's called cremation. Cremated people aren't coming back, are they?
That's fair enough. But
that's the bloke who started cremation and invented it. Guaranteed, scared of a zombie apocalypse. 100%.
That's probably the wisest
thing ever said. I've seen the films, I've seen the science. Let's get these shits to dust and throw them out in the ocean.
Same with vampires.
Or at a football ground or something.
I want to know, though, seriously, like, what are your strengths and weaknesses in a zombie apocalypse? How do you think you're going to, like, let each other down? How you think you're going to work together?
And also, what film are you thinking about? Are you thinking 28 Days Later series?
Yeah, how fast are the zombies?
In my head, it's a cross between 28 Days Later and Shaun of the Dead.
In your head?
Zombie.
Yeah, boom.
I would join the zombies and lead them.
Lead them? Lead them where?
I'd talk them into letting me be their leader.
How would you as Rage Whale guys work together? For example, Kev would write a bullet point, this, brush teeth.
Kev would write really small writing and annoy him and they kill him.
Maybe Drew would write a poem about how the zombie's feeling.
Yeah, then they'll kill him.
You would take the piss out of zombies, laugh at their face, James.
I'll be one with them.
Tell them that they're racist. Or that you're racist.
I'll try anything.
This is what I want to
know.
Can zombies be trans?
Yes.
Is that like if you have like double-decker graves and they kind of just like mix?
Yeah, if you're trans and you die, you're a trans zombie because you're already trans.
Transylvanian.
Vampires, though.
I feel like these are an idea for films now.
Okay. Now I want to know, like, how would you work together?
Like, I want about mass graves, like World War II style, because they've all been like mixed up now. So how would they get?
It's more clear, right? You're in London, right? All three of you. You're on your night out. Suddenly, zombie alarms go off. Zombies happening. What do you do? How are you going to work together? How are you going to get out of this?
I think we need to get someplace high. I'd say.
Yeah.
High up.
I feel like zombies can't. I've never seen a zombie swim.
We can get on a boat. Yeah.
I'd probably just go to the
zombies
O2
do swim in some
get
films.
on the boat.
I'd go to. I was initially thinking Shaun of the Dead, just go to the pub and hide out, but
wait for it to all blow over.
I think Zombieland, go and find Woody Harrelson and just drive away. And
he's an actor, dude. He's not going to help us. He's like, what are you talking about?
I'd go into the London dungeons and just lure them in there.
What, and
or just get on the London Eye. I don't think they've got the dexterity or the patience to get into one of them pubs.
Yeah, but what if we got trapped in one? It was full of zombies. That's not a good.
Yeah, but you get one that didn't have zombies in it, wouldn't you?
Like going around in circles on the big wheel on the London Eye. We'll be like, whose idea is this?
Slowly trap them all in there, couldn't you?
Yeah,
like leave little bits of KFC in there or something.
What? And then we just do a runner. 1 second.
Just stand behind it because they're too stupid to like come around. We'll be like, oh, we're in here, and they'll come in, door will shut. Next, oh, we're in here. They'll come in, door will shut.
So we're basically becoming front of house for the London Eye.
Noah's Ark? Build a Noah's Ark, get them all on there, and then helicopter out. And then
Yeah.
Why
burn
do you
it.
need to build an ark for three
Wait.
people?
If it's just
Bit
the three of us,
extreme. Just get a speedboat.
who's flying the helicopter? I'm guessing Kev's probably flying the helicopter.
Here's a
No,
question: Why are animals never zombies?
There's dogs. Dogs become zombies.
You never see like a zombie elephant knocking about, do you?
What?
You asked that good question about ghosts. Like, why do you always see old ghosts? You don't see like a new ghost, like seeing Brittany. Or
Well,
something.
who was the first person
Yeah.
to think a ghost looked like a sheet?
Just thinking Brittany.
What's that? Haunted linen? Like, it's not
True.
even make any sense.
Scary duvets out there.
Was that scary? A bed sheet coming out? If I threw a bed sheet at you, you'd be like,
Mate,
go
I've
away.
seen some scary duvets in my time.
You'd attack it with some starch.
Okay,
So
next
does it.
question. If you could swap your life with any movie character, what would it be?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
James, don't go with your first answer. Think
What
about
about Russell Brand in
Llewellyn
Arthur?
Spain.
He's got a Batmobile.
Oh, Batman. That's even
No,
better.
no, Russell Brand in Arthur. I wouldn't want to be Batman. Like, I wouldn't
but
actually
why
want to go
not?
out every night and fight. Some nights I'd just be like, I can't be bothered.
You just want to watch Netflix.
Yeah, but you don't have to. Yeah, you could just chill out in in Wayne Manor. You're minted, man. You don't have to worry about
Maybe
that.
Spider-Man. I'd quite like to be Spider-Man. He's got pretty good. He's got a good mix of both lives, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's got no money.
Also, he's only got one suit. You ever wondered how it never gets like damaged, dirty?
He's staying with his auntie, isn't he? Like,
Why does Superman wear his pants on the outside, his underpants?
So you don't have to clean them.
He has to clean his tights, though.
It's so small.
Think how ridiculous he'd look without the red pants, just all blue onesie. He'd look like
Yeah,
a really
he'd
bad Power Ranger.
be really defined without the pants.
I want to know who thought the cape was a good idea. Like, he was flying fine, right, in his own home country, wherever he was. And then someone put, do you want to put a cape on? He's like, no. Like,
the
why?
underpants on the outside.
Batman's got one as well. Batman's has a purpose. It does stuff, but his is just like flapping around.
It gets
Also,
on
he
to-
probably sometimes gets it out and it's all creased, and he's like, oh, just like iron it with his laser irons, whatever he does.
I'm gonna go for.
Notice how superhero costumes are never creased.
I'm gonna go for a character called Chance. If anyone knows who he is, Chance Boudreaux. Does anyone recognize
Chancellor
that?
Drew.
Chance Boudreaux.
Chancellor Drew.
It's in a film directed by John Woo.
Why don't you say what the film's called?
Hey.
Oh, for goodness sake, it
Hard
would be, wouldn't
Target.
it?
I'd be
Would be,
Jean-Claude
wouldn't
Van
it?
Damme. In Hard Target specifically.
Kev is
he's
Chuck
like
Norris
badass.
in anything.
I think, yeah, I'll go him.
Chuck E. Norris.
Just when I was looking at Van Damme films, he's in the Minions.
What?
Did anyone know that? Van Damme's in
No,
the Minions.
you'd make a good minion, though.
He plays Jean-Claude, as in
Brilliant.
CLAWED.
Of course he does. Of course.
Who would you be, Drew?
Oh man.
Drew would be that guy from the Kia advert with the electric car.
I'd like you to all say about each other who you think you'd be. Movie characters.
Wow. Maybe that's a better one. I don't know.
I feel like Kev would be in a Pixar movie.
If anyone wants to say, I'm David Spade from Grown Ups, get that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Actually,
Mr.
yeah,
Potato
in
Head?
a lot of
You could
ways,
be
not
Mr.
just
Potato Head.
look-alike attitude as well. Try to well.
Um.
Oh, I was going to say slight deviation. I was just thinking when you said Pixar character, I was just thinking of Up. The sad story of the old man. And
Drew's a dodo.
The first few minutes breaks your heart.
Oh man, for sure.
The new film Here with Tom Hanks, that's basically an elongated version of Up without a flying house. It's amazing.
Oh. So it's like Up without the main thing about Up.
It's the three, yeah,
And all the balloons.
It doesn't disappear to
There's
Venezuela.
a new love story film coming out. It's like the Titanic, but they're not on a boat.
So who are you, Drew? Who are you, Drew? I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
What about that mouse on Ratatouille?
Yeah,
Tina from Madagascar.
I'm quite down with that mouse. That mouse is cool in Ratatouille. Wait, it's a rat, dude.
It's a rat. I think you'd be the lemur from
Yeah,
Madagascar.
we don't want to call you a rat, did I?
Yeah, you can call me a rat, dude. I'm the year of the rat. We're year of the rats.
I reckon
man.
Kev is giving
Oh, yeah.
vibes of the giraffe on Madagascar.
What is it with us and Madagascar being animals?
I can see Kev as an animal in Madagascar. I don't know which one.
I reckon Drew is Buzz before Buzz knew he was a toy.
Oh my god, he is! He so is!
Full of positivity.
And beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're full of positivity. I was going to go down serious
Kev
actor
Spike.
route, like a Christian Bale or something like that. I'd see you more as a serious thespian, but you do have a funny, goofy side to you in a good way.
Oh, that's a really sweet.
Maybe I don't take things too seriously.
James, what would
Kev
he
Sid
be?
or Phantom of thingy.
James.
The guy from Jackass, isn't it?
Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville.
No, he's mental.
Well, yeah, but so are you too. The things I've seen you do. I don't know.
Oh,
Big Daddy. Like Adam Sandler in, he's looking after his kid. Big Daddy. Is it Big
in fact,
Daddy?
the whole Adam Sandler area is a good area, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a cartoon as well, but I can't think of one.
But also, like, he plays a really sweet father in it, but he's still getting up to some crazy things, but he always makes time for his kid. And
James, you're Dory in Finding Dory and Finding Nemo, because things come to your brain and then they disappear and then you come in again with like something random.
You sure you don't have ADHD, Drew?
Maybe.
Or James, maybe you're Memento.
The Mint.
Never
Memento.
seen it.
No, I'm kidding. It's a great dude. You got to see that. You've got to see that before our Christopher Nolan episode, man. Otherwise, serious.
Well, bear in mind we're filming that straight after this. It's unlikely I'm going to see that.
Oh yeah, spoilers. Okay,
Unless
fair
the
enough.
film lasts 3 to 5 minutes, it's probably
Yeah.
not going to squeeze it in.
It's Nolan. It doesn't.
You can just say you can forget it. It's on theme.
It's fine.
I've seen the other Nolan sisters stuff.
It's Nolan Brothers.
Oh, I've been doing the wrong research.
Yeah.
What else you got for
I've
us,
just been
Kate?
watching Loose Women for the past month.
I think you're thinking of the Wachowskis.
I've got some more deep questions. So I had you some movie questions. I did want to do a deep dive into your hobbies because I find it super interesting, your experiences, photographies, and how you all have in common that you have all these creative hobbies. But I feel like that's an episode in itself. I feel like there's so much that I'd want to know. And James has his photography, Kev has his photography. You've all had some really interesting experiences, and Drew has his acting and his poetry. But I feel like that's almost an episode in itself. So
James has his graffiti as well.
Yeah, true. So I wanted to keep it more lighthearted, but we could delve. I'll tell you what, I've got two options. We can delve into getting to know you and your hobbies, or we could delve into some deeper questions.
I'm up for deep.
I like
should I say
deep.
down for deep?
Oh yeah, there he goes. James, you're just making a racket.
Yeah, James is just readjusting.
Yeah, I had to plug my phone in.
Okay. Okay, first one. If you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
An idea.
Buy Bitcoin.
Maybe write more lists just to remember all the things, to remember to do the lists I need to do.
Write a list about lists. A list within a list within a list, like Inception.
Go on, Drew. You?
Sorry, my brain is just. I think I've become Dory. Just please.
What's the
question?
What advice would you give yourself?
Pay attention. Pay attention, Drew. What advice should I give my younger self?
No, just you now.
My now self.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't know. Is it past self? What do you mean?
I'd say just pay attention, man. Maybe just pay attention so I know what the fuck is
younger
going on.
self.
Younger self. Sorry.
Younger self.
Accept it. Don't get better.
No, I would. Oh man,
It's not going to get any bigger. Just to deal with it.
No. I wish I worked harder when I was like 18, put money away, had something to show for it. Do you know what I mean? Like I was the grasshopper that sang all summer, man. I just didn't take life seriously enough. I played when I should have saved.
But if you saved that money, you wouldn't spend it on fun stuff.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, man. At least I'd have something to show for it, and maybe I could put that towards
memories.
Yeah, but dude, memories. I can't offer memories to landlords.
You can.
Like, oh, hey, here's
Hey,
You get the right
memories.
landlord. You can.
Hey, Mr. Landlord, I remember having money. Do you like that?
I remember having money 1,000 times. Is that good?
You go, hey, Mr. Landlord, you want to make some memories?
No, that's just the wrong kind of.
You
No,
get
I don't
the right
want
landlord.
don't want to be making sweet memories with landlords. No,
That could be double-ended, Drew. You could make some money
Oi,
doing
oi.
that as
Drew, you
well.
just said you regretted not putting the hard work in. Now you're not willing to put the hard work in.
Yeah, but now you guys talking about double-ended and landlords, and that just sounds frightening. That just sounds
That's
like
one way to pay your rent.
that's requiem for
Yeah.
a dream gone horribly
Dr.
wrong.
Ren.
Okay, maybe there's no happy
It's
medium, because I think that mine might be the opposite a little bit, is to have done more things. Like, I'm not gone abroad that much, especially not in the last 10 years. I mean, I do the stuff. I go to lots of gigs and do that sort of stuff, but it's kind of like low-key, not big financial things. Like Kate, for instance, travels around the world and fucks off
That's
all
only
the
'cause
time
she's on the
everywhere.
How do you know?
Because I read.
And Shed does that as well, you know. Kate, Shed, and Katie J, and that they all travel around the world all the time. I don't have as much of that wanderlust as they do, but I still wish I'd gone on a few more holidays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's not too late though, Kev. It's not like you can never go on holiday.
It is for Kev. It's over now.
84 or something.
We're going to Graceland next year.
Are you really?
Ooh.
Into America.
That must
I don't
cost
like America.
thousands, though. So there you go. You'll be all right.
Yeah, it costs a lot. So yeah.
Save up.
Okay, James, your answer?
No, I said buy Bitcoin.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Next one.
It was flippant, but it was serious as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any dream or goal? And it can be collectively for your podcast, or it can be individually. And it could, you might have already answered it last question. Do you have any dream or goal that you've been too scared to pursue?
I think sometimes it's taken the leap on things. Like my photography stuff, I've done that for over 20 years. And I've never taken the leap and just done it. I've always had the safety net of a job. And I'm glad I did, because it's kept me financially okay.
Housed.
Not paying the landlord with double enders.
No, I didn't need to do that. But I wish I had the balls to have just severed everything.
That's what Pitts did, didn't it? Pitts did it because he got a massive redundancy thing.
Yeah, I think I needed a safety net because I'm risk averse. It's not that I'm scared to do stuff. It's like I'm risk averse. I don't want to do something if I then cannot do something else. So photography, even though it wasn't a passion, it wasn't a little thing on the side. It was a job. You know, I paid taxes doing it, but I never severed the job and went 100%. But that's kind of I think it's also a smart move because I think it's tricky making money that way. But I did have an opportunity to work on movies regularly. If I quit my job, I could have been. I've had job offers going across the world in different locations with the producer I know, and every month I could have been on a different job doing something different, getting paid decent. But it was still, there might be 2 months of no job. There might be 3 months of no job, then a big pay. And I'm like, I can't deal with that stress. I want stuff in my bank regularly.
Yes. Kill what you eat's a lot harder. But then
it's life, isn't it? It's a fact we have to pay bills, we have to survive. So it's not always an unsensible thing to regret that or to feel that. What's your answer, Drew?
I was going to say, though, at least that way Kev could have traveled, though, because he was saying, I haven't seen many countries, but you could have done then.
Yeah. Lots of silence.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you wish you'd given your landlord a double ender?
No.
What's James's? Do you ever regret not pursuing something further or a passion? No. That's good. That's a good answer.
I mean, no, I kind of regret putting acting in a box, right, and waiting till I finished drama school, because I had a lot more creative spunk, so to speak, when I was
That's
that.
how Reef was born.
How did you get it created though?
Perfect.
How was it creative? Where did you put it? Was it somewhere else?
Did it come out of a pencil case?
Keyring, actually.
Okay, cool. But yeah, no,
this when he's older, by the way.
This will be Reef's favorite episode. Yeah, yeah, man, I don't know. I kind of wish that I didn't wait.
So you waited till you got your degree, not degree, whatever it is, your qualifications in acting, rather than just taking little jobs as you went.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm honest, like having a kind of rawness and being younger, I kind of wish I just tried to just go to America and be like, I'm just going to kind of just give it a vibe. Like I got no CV, I've got nothing to speak of really, apart from I've done a kind of BTEC performing arts course, but like I'm hungry and I'm ready, and I want to kind of have that raw DiCaprio-esque of not having that full training and just wanting to drink up that experience and that craft on set, like learning on the job, as it were, rather than going through a training where they kind of craft you a certain way and then you come out and then there's expectations, but then it's like trying to find an agent and all these kind of things that come with it. But I don't know, it's a funny one, man. I don't know. Yeah, probably a bit of regrets for that. But also I regret listening to one of my agents at one point, because the director cast me as one of Cillian Murphy's like gang in a film I think called Love and Something, and it's got Keira Knightley in it as well. And they're like, you'll be away for 2 months filming loads of scenes, and you'll be with Cillian Murphy a lot, and they'll probably get you to improvise and you have a few lines. And then my agent at the time was like, well, that's glorified extra work, darling. And I'm like, no, it's a second opportunity that I let slide. So
hey, look, always think when someone offers you extra work, think about Wesley Snipes as a dancer in the back of the Bad video for Michael Jackson.
Wow.
And your boy in the Breaking movie, Jean-Claude Van Damme, as a background dancer.
Yeah. They went from bad to badass. So,
yep.
Yeah.
And Drew, instead of
breaking to breaking boards.
And and instead of working with Cillian Murphy, you ended up hanging out with Kevin Spacey in an abandoned theater.
In your pants eating cornflakes.
No. There was no cornflakes.
With a dog humping your leg in front of Kevin Spacey.
Yeah. But that was an experience, man, for sure.
Okay, lift the level up. We've just gone negative.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Drew? Or James?
Whoa.
Probably I
need to
fire
marinate.
escape sign when the building was on fire.
That's not advice, you just look for that.
Don't eat yellow snow? I don't know. Best advice.
Or one you could have given yourself. You realised.
Good advice.
Go on. Indicate before you turn. That was a good one.
Trying to be serious here.
Now I feel like I should come up with a funny one, but I can't. The advice I always used to give people, especially when I was working in London, is when I used to work in property in London, is that everyone's so fussy. Like I used to take people out with these monstrous budgets, and they could afford sod all because it was London. So 600 grand, and it'd be a half decent one bed in Highbury. And the advice I used to give people when I got really frustrated with people is that buy the worst property on the worst street now rather than wait to next year when you can't even afford that. Get on the ladder, buy any piece of shit. It doesn't matter. You're paying a mortgage, which is a quarter of the price of the landlord's rent. You're paying for their mortgage, and then you can then see the property grow in value over a couple of years, sell or remortgage, take the equity out and buy another property or buy upgrade, at least you're on there, then you can go to the next one. Don't be fussy, just buy any old piece of shit. I think that's good advice for life.
Okay, I have.
Yeah, but buy any old house, any old flat.
Buy any shit.
I can tell you the worst bit of advice I ever got.
What was that?
Was when I was
Do
younger.
eat the yellow snow.
And the bank gave me a credit card, and then obviously ruined that. And then the bank also then offered me a loan to pay off the credit card. And I like, that seems like a good idea. Wasn't a good idea.
And then gave you a business card for a loan shark to help pay off that.
Yeah.
Drew, what's the best piece of advice you've ever given yourself or someone else?
Well,
Or been given to you?
something I've been trying to do recently is I believe the
Did
better.
someone hit real low key on a piano?
Yeah, I did hear that.
I hit
What
the
that
mic.
noise?
Sorry.
I was about to say.
He's going to make a toast.
I like to propose toast to this man.
I thought he just hit like a really low key. He's ready to break into song.
Today. Go on, Drew.
It's hard, guys, because my brain is foggy enough as it is without all these distractions. Yeah. So on the other side, the better version of yourself is on the other side of your comfort zone, and that's something that I've been working on.
I totally think that like fear is the only thing that ever holds us back in life.
Well, yeah, the best quote I've ever heard was how they flipped. Fear has got like a double kind of a double entendre or whatever they call it. So it's either fear everything and run, or it's face everything and rise. And I was like, holy shit, that sounds like something out of a Batman movie by Christopher Nolan.
Or if you're Ian Brown, forget everything and remember.
Nice.
Wait,
that's a good one.
Song Fear.
I'll stop asking you questions. I wanted to say thank you for letting me ask some stupid questions to get to know you. I'd love to ask you more on another day about your hobbies because I think it's super interesting for listeners. I'd love to hear more of your poetry, Drew. I'd love to hear from, I'd love to hear from James and Kev about their creative passions with photography and art. And I think that would be really interesting for another time to learn more about your experiences and your hobbies and interests.
Thank you. That's been, I mean, it sounds like egotistical for us to have you on and ask us questions, but it's been interesting and joyful, and we really appreciate you doing that for us.
Yeah, thank you so much. You make an awesome host.
Let me ask you strange things. So.
Thank you for putting the time in and stuff like that.
It's better than the police asking us questions. It's a nice change.
Yeah, or your landlord afterwards.
And I expected some questions about favourite animal bums or something.
I tried to not be weird.
But before we go, I just had one more, not advice, but like from what you were saying, the previous question is that something I try and say a lot is that don't try and be appreciative of what you've got rather than what you don't have, because yeah, Drew, you want X and I want Z and whatever it might be, but there's so many people that are worse off. It's not to think of worse off people to make yourself feel better, but you've got a roof over your head, you've got income, you've got friends, you've got X, Y, and Z in your life that's all good. It could be a hell of a lot worse. Yeah. You could be born in a really deprived country. You could be
Bradford.
No, but we're so ungrateful for what we have when we think of so many countries. And then also, like, we might be jealous of a friend thinking, oh, they do this, they do that. But then they might be looking at you and going, oh, I wish I had that in their life. So
yeah,
it's not always grass is greener, and we're so lucky to have so many things. So you make a very good point.
It's count your blessings, isn't it? Not your have-nots. Because I think that's where, like, if you're always thinking you're trying to be somewhere and be someone, you'll never be who you're ever going to be.
Well, there's so many people out there that have great things in front of them, but they want what's over there, or
like
they want
three of you.
I want a bigger car, I want a bigger house, I want whatever. But if you think about it, you're never going to be satisfied ever. And I know that's kind of a good part of life, to always have a drive for something more, but you've also got to sit back and go, it's not perfect, but it's comfortable and I'm good. Or for whether it's your job or your friends or your relationship or whatever it is, There's always a positive in your life, not to focus on the negative.
It's beautiful.
It's a lovely ending, Kev.
Okay.
It's all a mindset, baby. It's all a mindset.
All right. We'll end there because we've got another one to record. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Kate.
Brilliant. Gonna go.
Incredible.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Catch us next week.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you had a whale of a time.
Oh, wait! Before you go and enjoy the rest of your day, we would really appreciate if you had a spare 5 seconds, a follow and a 5-star rating. Also, don't forget to follow us on our socials on Instagram and TikTok, where we have updates, movie-related content, and funny clips from the show. Please tell all your friends. Thanks for hanging out with us till the very end. Have a great rest of your day.